Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, doing a Final Fantasy XI video because Final Fantasy XI is actually having a pretty serious uptick after the 23rd anniversary back in May. So much so that one of their most popular servers has to kind of be shut down for characters so people stop congesting it. So we're going to be looking at a post over here on playonline.com, which simultaneously makes me go, oh man, this website's so old, and also makes me think, man, their new websites kind of look like this. Sorry, Square. I had to say it. Everyone's already thinking it. But we have a post here from producer and director Yoji Fujito about the Asura world. Now, for those who don't know, Asura is the Reddit server for Final Fantasy XI, and for many, many years was the #1 destination that most new players would be directed to. Now, in recent times, that has changed a little bit, even before this post, where Asura is one of those, yeah, it's really popular, but have you thought about some of these other worlds at the same time? We'll go over that a little bit. Let's take a look at what the post has to say first. Greetings, everyone. I'm Yoji Fujito, producer and director for Final Fantasy XI. First off, I'd like to thank you all for playing Final Fantasy XI. I'd like to take a moment to explain what we will be doing to help combat periods of congestion that we've seen on Asura recently. Thanks to you, Final Fantasy XI recently welcomed its 23rd year of service and continues to be enjoyed by numerous players around the globe. In fact, thanks in part to players that are new to the game, as well as those who are returning home to Vana'diel after being away for a while, the overall player population has been trending upward recently. The development and operations team have been working hard to help all of you enjoy your gaming experience even more, but it's been discovered that the concentration of player populations on certain worlds has led to a series of unexpected issues that have managed to affect the quality of that experience somewhat. This includes things like system messages not displaying properly in Vanabout, for example. We have especially noticed such issues occurring on Asura, so to help ensure stable operations going forward, we are planning to implement the following measures from Tuesday, July 29th, in order to help out the world player population. We appreciate your cooperation and understanding regarding this matter. Steps to be taken. The ability to use the World Transfer Service to transfer characters to Asura will be suspended. The ability to create new characters on Asura will be suspended with a little star. And the Vana'diel Adventure Recruitment Program will be suspended for Asura. Now keep in mind, if you already have existing characters on Asura, they will not restrict you. They're trying to restrict new accounts from making characters on Asura. Note, since there's a possibility that similar issues may arise on other overly crowded worlds, we are also considering other potential measures that will help equalize the population across worlds. Very interesting. We plan to continue monitoring the number of logged in users as well as various other factors, and will seek to resume the above mentioned services and functionality when appropriate. In addition to developing and revising in-game content, we are working hard to maintain an environment where players around the world can enjoy the game, so we appreciate your continued support for Final Fantasy XI. So I'm honestly kind of surprised this took this long. For years and years and years now, Asura's population has just been massive. I think I've seen as much as like 4,000 players online at Asura at any given time, while a lot of other servers usually hover in the 300 to 500 range, minus a couple of others, which they're probably alluding to here. But Asura, yeah, its population has just skyrocketed. So much so I almost feel like it's got more players than 11 did in its peak. Like, that's how much concentration there is into that one individual world. So them doing this doesn't surprise me at all, and hopefully it will give some other worlds the opportunity to actually grow their populations a bit. Now, in reality, we are likely to see this exact same problem on the Bahamut world sometime in the near future. Over the last several years, Bahamut's become kind of the next recommended server after Asura, and I forget what the other one is. If I looked at the server list, maybe I could pull it up real quick. If I looked at the server list, I could probably remember there is a third world that was also recommended amongst people. Let's see, Final Fantasy XI server list. I'll just pull it up on a separate tab right here. I might remember if I just see it, but I guess I might as well know. Bahamut. Shiva's actually one of the first worlds I played on. Shiva and Valfur. Asura, Lakshmi, Bismarck, Cerberus, Ragnarok, Siren, Quetzalcoatl, Odin. It might be Leviathan. No, I don't think that sounds right. Leviathan, Valfur. Had a character on Valfur too. Sylph, Fenrir, Carbuncle, Phoenix, Shiva, Bahamut. I don't know. I don't know what the third one is. It might actually be Leviathan, but I'm not 100% certain. Interesting, Asura was actually the 23rd and most recent server to actually be released September 9th, 2003. Not that that matters now, you know, all these years ago, but pretty interesting that was also the last server to ever be made for Final Fantasy XI. But it's interesting because I don't think most people would expect Final Fantasy XI, even with anniversaries coming and going, to actually be on an upward trend. Final Fantasy XI is in kind of that weird space where there's almost like a war between retail and private server players. I myself don't really like the private servers, so I often get a lot of flack for that. But I then play on retail, but I also don't do that too seriously either. But a lot of people do want to go experience a story. A lot of people didn't do some of the later things, Voracious Resurgence, or even the actual finale to the story. And so they kind of are always looking for direction on what servers to go to. So the fact that most people will recommend Asura and eventually Bahamut has kind of led to this problem overall, which is why I'm interested to see considering potential measures that will help equalize the populations across worlds. I don't know how that happens without being messy, because I don't see them coming up with something like a cross-world, like the ability to just travel between worlds freely like Final Fantasy XIV has. It's not that I don't think it can be done. It's just that when I think about the really old architecture that the game sits on, even though they've actually managed to move it to somewhat more modern development like platforms in order to actually keep developing the game without having to buy like black market PS2 kits, it's difficult for me to imagine how that actually ends up working outside of a massive incentive for making characters on a lot of those worlds. We may actually be seeing that becoming a thing. And I'm not going to lie, I kind of think they should. It's not that I want these lower people to flood into lower pop servers, but Final Fantasy XI being told, hey, if you make a character on these servers, here are all these massive benefits you get, makes it really easy for someone to look at a new player and be like, hey, if you start playing, let's make a character on this world, or they start directing people to those other worlds and filling them out a little bit more. But we're very curious to see how this goes. In case any of you are wondering, yes, Final Fantasy XI still receives monthly updates. They actually just recently reworked Limbus. Apollyon and Temenos have been made into the modern era. They are used to upgrade artifact and relic gear to +4, and I haven't actually had the chance to dive into them much at all. I've done a light read up on the Wikipedia to try to understand how they are, and I'll probably be doing a video where I actually dive in. It has adjustable difficulty levels, so I can just pop in even though I haven't done it in a while. I'll just have to figure out what the appropriate difficulty for them actually is. But I wanted to give you guys a little bit of this news because I thought it was interesting. So, thanks for watching this video. Please stay tuned. I will be doing more Final Fantasy XI themed videos. The Let's Play's been on a little bit of a hold ever since I moved. I haven't really been in a position to record new episodes, but I will be continuing that at some point, and with the upcoming Final Fantasy XI raid, Sandoria the Second Walk, and Final Fantasy XIV, I will be doing, of course, lore explanations for the characters there, citing any of the references that I can, etc., etc. So, stay tuned. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see all of you in the next one. And until then, take care.